Hi, everybody. I'm Tracy Patton.
And I'm Kathy Ryan.
And this is Women 2018. And yes, we are still on our adventure, traveling across the country to meet the many women running for political office this year.
And the majority of the women who are running for the first time, which is history making in the history of the United States.
Yes. And today we are in Lansing, Michigan to talk to Gretchen Whitmer, who is running for governor. So Gretchen, come join us.
Right.
Sit right in the middle. It's
Thank
so
you.
nice to have you here and to be here in Lansing. And
I'm glad you're here, and I'm
Yes.
glad we all coordinated our outfits
coordinated.
without even
Look at
meeting
this.
each other.
I love
talking
it.
to each other.
Yes. So, speaking of Lansing, you are born and raised here. Tell me, what do you love about Lansing?
Well, you know, I think Michigan is a phenomenal state. I really am proud to be a Michigander. We invented the middle class here. We used to have the best public schools around, and this 21% of the great, you know, of the fresh water of the world is here in and around
Right.
Michigan.
I didn't know that.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
the Great Lakes, but all of our inland lakes, and so
Yeah.
it's really a unique place. And I've never wanted to live anywhere else.
Yeah, well, it's great to be in this state, and so then, well, let's talk about your early work life. You stocked shelves at Target, right? And you worked for a lumber company, and I wish we had more time. We could ask you all about that, all about lumber. And then you were in the buffet line. You worked in the buffet line at the Royal Fork, right? So how did you end up in politics?
Well, you know, I went to Michigan State University, and I thought I was going to be a sports broadcaster. There were
really? Oh,
no
okay.
women on ESPN at the
yes,
time, and
yes.
I
That's
loved
interesting,
sports,
yeah.
and I wanted to do that. And just down the street was our state capitol. I did an internship and fell in love with public policy.
okay,
I understood why it was so important that our voices are heard at the
Yes.
Capitol, and so I never looked back on sports broadcasting. I became enamored with, you know, public service.
Yeah, and now you're running for governor. Describe the moment that you decided to run.
Well, you know, I served for 14 years in the Michigan legislature, and I'd gone back to the private sector. I was teaching at the University of Michigan and practicing law. But I think the Flint water crisis was my last straw.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was so major, such a disaster, wasn't it?
The worst kind of public failure, and
Yeah.
8,000 children were brushing their teeth every night for 2.5 years with poison water.
Oh,
And I think, you know, I've got kids in the public schools. I see what's happening, but I think that was my final straw. We need leaders who are going to look out for the people of this state, and that's why I jumped in.
Okay, so now you're in the campaign. What are the challenges that you have encountered as a woman running for governor, which is different than maybe running for Congress? So what are the challenges?
Well, you know, I'm running for an executive office,
Yeah.
and it is different than being a member of Congress. One of the things that I've found, both in, you know, from men of both parties, is often I get compared to other women, because there are so few women in leadership positions. So we all get compared to one another.
Right.
And you know, I will carry my own baggage. I will be judged on my own record. I'm happy to have that debate, but I think it's something that women deal with a lot more than men. No one's out there saying that we can't have another man governor because this man poisoned a city.
Yeah, absolutely.
But women are held against one another all the time, and I think it's
Interesting,
rising above that and holding people to a higher standard. So.
And Gretchen, because most, as our viewers know, most of the people, the candidates we've interviewed are running for the very first time. What insights do you have for them, for these women running for the first time?
I think it's just do it. You know, jump in.
Okay, just do it.
You know, women need to be encouraged to run. We don't come out of the womb thinking, well, I'm going to be president of the United States.
Absolutely.
So we have to plant the seed and encourage one another. I had a number of people suggest it to me before I really took it seriously myself as a candidate. And I think it's really, any one of us could walk into any state capitol right now and do a better job than some of the people that are there. We just hold ourselves to higher standards, and I think it's really, I think that's a good thing. I think that's why we produce better when we are elected.
Right.
But I think we got to get over that internal hump and run.
And what do you think the impact will be with all of these women running this year? Such a unique time.
Yeah.
And the women winning.
Yes, winning, of course.
Well, when more women run, more women will win.
Yes.
And then we get an agenda, I think that really reflects a focus on education and health care. You know, women spend more of our time collaborating and working on those issues than our men counterparts. and that inures to everyone's benefit. So when we've got more women around the table, we've got more moms who are looking out for sons and daughters, and more women who are looking out for moms and dads, you know, and we all benefit when there are more women sitting around
and
the
tell
table.
us about conflict resolution.
Yeah,
and
so
how that
speaking
works,
out
right,
about
with
women around the table in politics,
Yeah, so one of the things that I was, very obvious was when a woman was leading a meeting, she'd go out of her way to make sure everyone was participating. She'd go out of her way to convene meetings that were productive but didn't go over, stayed focused on the task. And I do think we were better collaborators. And so we just lead differently. And I think that's why it's so important that we're at the table, but we're also at the head of the table.
Yes, I love it.
Yes.
Oh, Gretchen.
We love you.
Well, thanks, we do, and we can't wait to see what happens with your campaign. We will be following your campaign, and if you want to know more about Gretchen Whitmer, go to GretchenWhitmer.com and keep on following us. Please support us and spread the word by going to women2018.org. We are going on more and more adventures this year, and remember, don't vent, vote. Every vote counts.